Alright, now that the garbage truck is out of the way, I guess I can continue. So, next question. Do you like any of the following anime dubbing companies? Viz Media, Ocean Productions, ADV Films, Pioneer, Streamline Pictures, Gion, Manga Corps, Manga Entertainment, UK, Bandai Entertainment, Bang Zoom, Media Blasters, Sentai Filmworks, Studopolis, Funimation, 4Kids, Animigo, Anime Souls, Aniplex of America, Miramax Films, NIS America, Section 23 Films, and Saban Brands. Okay, first off, a lot of these companies are ones I've never even heard of, so that aside, others that you've mentioned are no longer in business, so it would be pointless to say my opinion of those ones. And honestly, that aside, I do like some of those ones. I'm sure you could figure out which ones I like obviously Funimation and Viz are pretty good, and I'm not familiar with most of the other ones, but you already know the answer to that, so no real point answering that. Next, would you donate money to Funimation to buy their stocks? Well, first off, it's clear you don't really know how buying stocks works. It's not really a donation, it's really buying a share of their company, and to answer that question, I would, but there's one little thing, is that Funimation is not a company that has stock, really. They're not listed in the New York Stock Exchange, so I really can't buy shares in them, and honestly, considering that the company that did buy them at one point has since sold them off, it's kind of tough to invest in the company that owns them because it keeps switching around, so otherwise I guess I would, maybe. Who knows? Honestly, anime is not something to really invest money on all too much, considering it's a niche audience. But anyway, how do you buy your anime? Through ordering or buying it straight from the store? Well, these days I tend to just watch the anime on streaming sites. I don't buy DVDs as much these days anymore, but other times I just watch it on TV, like on Toonami. But when I do buy the DVDs, I admit I go to online stores, thanks to that whole incident where Best Buy decided to stop stocking anime a while ago, which I think was a dumb idea, but anyway, since they no longer have them in stores and that was where I used to buy my anime, I just tend to go for online shopping. Next, if Funimation had a job opening, would you go there for the interview? Well, first off, seeing as I live over in Michigan, and Funimation is over in Texas, which, in case you're not aware, that's pretty far away, I would be kinda difficult to get a job over there, but that aside, if I actually lived in Texas, I'd love to work for Funimation, they're awesome. But like I said, I don't see myself moving to Texas anytime soon. Which is better, anime or American cartoons? Alright, look, I like both of them for different reasons. For example, anime is great for its action and great storylines, while American cartoons are far more comedic and silly, but honestly, overall, I prefer anime. Next, what do you prefer, dubs or subs? Well, dubs when they're treated right. That's simple. Anyway, next, how did you discover anime? Well, first off, I did grow up in the 90s, and I was 10 when the Pokemon craze hit, so that was probably where I first discovered anime. Does that answer the question? Hope so. Anyway, what do you think of the Dragon Ball dub? Which version are you asking me about? Next, do you prefer the DBZ in English or Japanese? Well, for the original Dragon Ball series, or Dragon Ball Z series, I would say the Japanese version, since neither of the English dubs are really that good. But, as far as the English dub of Kai that I've been watching now, I really am digging the Funimation dub. It's just awesome. Next, how did you meet Tammy Newborn? I already answered that one. Next, does he/she comment on your videos? Not as much as he used to, but honestly, I think he's afraid that I might call the police again, so I get the feeling that he's trying to be a bit careful around commenting on my stuff. He's careful not to make any threats or say anything that I could hold against him. Anyway, when he comments, does he still ask you to make a video? All the time. And next, Do you know that Tammy Newborn is actually a girl? That is not true. First off, Tammy Newborn is a boy and his name is Devontae Huntley. I know this for a fact. I found out. I looked it up. This is all true. So, I don't know where you heard this from, but it's not true. And if he told you that, he's lying. Anyway, next. Did you know that she still makes nasty comments on people all over YouTube? Oh, and don't worry about the he parts. Well, once again, Tammy is male. So, that aside, yes, I'm fully aware. And I make a very good point of always reporting his comments if he says anything that I can report or use against him. So yes, I am aware. What do you think of the new Toonami layout? Personally, I like it. Anyway, what do you think of the original Funimation dub of Dragon Ball Z? Sick of all these questions about Dragon Ball Z and Funimation. Anyway, Funimation was young at the time, so I admit it. It was when they were pretty flawed, and it was probably their worst dub so far of all time. That aside, they didn't know better. They were young, just starting off, and honestly, I think it's that these mistakes helped them realize what was better in general and what worked. So I think that while, yes, this dub was bad, it was what helped them realize what kind of company they wanted to be and how to do a good job. So honestly, let's forgive them and get over it once and for all. Enough said. Next, what do you think of the Ferguson incident that had occurred a few days ago? First off, I think it's awful, all the rioting that's going on over this incident, and I want to make it very clear that I am 100% on the cop's side. I think that what he did was heroic, and he was totally in the right for shooting this guy. All the evidence is that the criminal was armed, dangerous, and had visibly tried to beat up on this cop, and all these witnesses had said that it was done, what had happened, and not one of them said that the cop was in the wrong. Now, that in mind, the cop was acting in self-defense. Keep in mind that while, yes, some cops can be a little crooked, not all of them are bad. In fact, you want an example of a cop doing a good thing? Keep in mind that it was a police officer that made sure that that 4Kids lover, Huntley, stopped bothering me. So, can't really hate the cops that much. So, I don't know why. I get it. They make mistakes at times, but come on, guys. They're here to help us. Don't be mean to them. Anyway, next. What type of music do you listen to? Alright, look, I have kind of weird taste. Like, honestly, most of the stuff on my MP3 player is J-pop stuff. I know, kind of weird, but honestly, the stuff that we have over in America is garbage. I mean, Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus are a joke. All that Taylor Swift ever does is sing about her exes. And the only way any American pop song can have a chance of being popular, if it's not from those jokers, is if it's so bad that it's laughable. You know, like Friday. But honestly, I just don't like our stuff. And man, I'm starting to sound like an old man saying this stuff about music. Anyway, next question. Would you ever get a job at Funimation, and if so, what would it be? Well, first off, seeing as I'm currently in school working on graphic design, maybe something in that area. But as for Funimation, honestly, I would love to work for them if I lived there. But actually, I'd probably maybe a voice actor, because okay, this is an awesome story I'm going to tell you. It's happened at a con. I'm not going to say what con for reasons I'd rather not get into. But at this con, I met Chris Sabat. And he was doing this panel about voice acting where he wants us to all see just how difficult it is to voice characters. And it actually kind of backfired on him, but not in a bad way, in that, because normally when he does these panels, he admits right off the beginning, be careful, don't be disappointed, you'll probably have trouble voicing the characters. But then, the first person went up and managed to nail the line, mouth flaps and all, first try, no trouble. He was quite impressed, and then the second one went up, and third and fourth, and by the end of the whole thing, no one had taken more than 2 turns to get the line right. And of course, I was one of the ones who did go up, and I got the line right the first try. Now, When he asked about why everyone was doing so well at this, when normally people will tend to... He says that when people go up for this panel, they tend to take about 3 or 4 turns, and then finally they're like, oh, this is so difficult, and give up. But the fact that everyone managed to get this on the first or second try impressed him so much that he flat out said to us, you know, I wish I could hire every last one of you, but sadly, Filmation is over in Texas, and this is over in Michigan, so... if it wasn't for that, I'd gladly hire every one of you in a heartbeat. So maybe I'd go over there and maybe remind him of it. Oh, and by the way, I just want to point this out. Chris Sabat is such an awesome guy. He's so friendly and nice, honestly. If you meet him, and I know some people didn't like him as Vegeta at first, but honestly, if you meet him, you'll find out that he's such an awesome person to be around. He's one of those friendly bro types, so it's really hard. You can't really hate him. He's so sweet. Anyway, so maybe I'd try to audition as a voice actor, seeing as I was able to actually do a practice thing so well. And for those of you wondering what the line was, we were doing a scene from Dragon Ball Kai, some episode where it was a non-action-y episode, where I think Goku was over at the Brief's house, and in the context of the scene, Bulma's mom was asking Goku out on a date for some reason, and I got a line from Goku where he's pointing out to Bulma's mom the fact that she's a married person and he's also married, so it would be kind of weird. And, I remember quite well, when I went up, the line was like, but Bulma's mom, you're married, and so am I! And, I noticed someone in the audience was like, wow, he actually sounds just like Goku. I even asked others what they thought, and they said that I kind of sounded like this cross between Moscow X's abridged version and the actual Sean Schemmel performance. So, honestly, that would be pretty cool to voice a character. Of course, not Goku, because Sean does that role so awesomely, but maybe I'd try out for anime roles. Or, like I said, maybe something graphic design related, since that's what I'm studying. Anyway, next question. Have you ever wanted to become a voice actor? Sure, why not? Next, what do you think of Tom Whalen's work outside of voice directing? As I've said before, I think he's a decent voice actor. Not great, but decent. But I think his ego is way too huge. And it's really not justified. Speaking of egos, what do you think of Vic Mignogna? Alright, look, I think he's a really nice guy. I honestly do. He's got a great sense of humor, and all those mean things that people are saying about him are just exaggerations, if not complete lies. And yes, I admit, he is a bit cocky, and him being religious can be a little bit annoying at times, but he's not overly preachy like some people think, and his ego is not nearly as horrible as others have said. So honestly, those are minor nitpicking things, but honestly, he's a really sweet guy. He's friendly, completely down to earth, and he's not a diva like you guys might think. Now, I do actually have a funny story about something that happened the last time I saw him, which was at Midwest Media Expo. Same place where Tom Whalen made an ass of himself. Anyway, so I was waiting in line to get an autograph, and when it was my turn, I decided, after having him sign something, I was with my friend, and I decided I wanted to know what his thoughts were on the Goku vs. Superman fight, because, at this point I already asked the other Dragon Ball Z voices, and since he is Broly, I figured I'd get his input on the fight. His response cracked me up. So I'm like, hey Vic, how do you feel about the Goku vs. Superman fight where Superman beat Goku? And he said, well, of course Superman won. That's because Goku's a pussy. Yes, Vic Mignogna said that Goku is a pussy. And I just laughed my ass off. It was just so hilarious hearing this guy who's always been known to be this humble, good Christian who tries to avoid using naughty language, and suddenly he calls Goku a pussy. I just laughed so hard from shock at this. It was just so awesome. And then afterwards, just for the hell of it, I decided, because I am curious what he would think, who he would think would win in a fight between Hulk and Broly. And of course, without missing a beat, he said that Broly would win. No surprise there. But anyway, that aside, Vic is honestly a nice guy. Don't be so hard on him, guys. Next. What do you think of the Ferguson incident that happened on Monday? Didn't you just ask me that question? Anyway, what is your favorite type of music? That's already been asked by someone else, so not answering it again. Anyway, next. What is your least favorite anime? Well, that's a tough call, seeing as if I don't like an anime, I'm not going to watch it, but I guess of all the series I've watched so far, I'd say my least favorite is probably High School of the Dead, because it's just really stupid and grotesque for my taste. Anyway, that aside, what do you think of ISIS? Screw ISIS, just another terrorist group that needs to be stopped. Do you know who Nostradamus is? Nope, never heard of him. Anyway, finally, what do you think of Tom Whalen's Pokemon voice acting? As I've said before, I think he's an okay voice, not a good director, and of course, and like I said, this applies to Pokemon where, yeah, his directing, he should really hand it over to someone else and just stick to voicing the occasional character, because, like I said, he's much better as a voice actor than a director. Anyway, that's all the questions I've been asked, so see ya.